my name is Jill Robb, and I'm CMO and Director of Origin. We're a digital agency based in Hollywood. That's the Hollywood in Northern Ireland, not unfortunately in LA. So this last 12 months for Origin has been a bit of a whirlwind, to be honest. At the start of the pandemic, we were, I guess because we're a digital agency, we're one of the lucky businesses in that we already had the digital environment, so to speak, set up. And so, in effect, when we were told lockdown was happening, we were able to move from being in the office to all being at home relatively quickly and easily. We literally just picked up our machines and started working from home the following day because we had those systems in place. But actually, as time went on, and what we saw happening in the business environment overall were that businesses who previously weren't digital realized very, very quickly that they needed to become digital. So as a result, it's just been an absolute whirlwind. We've actually built the business quite substantially, and we've taken on quite a lot of clients from areas as far away as North America. So the initial sort of recruitment phase was relatively normal. We work with a number of different recruiters, and one in particular actually that would be our go-to. And we work very closely with her. She knows us pretty well. She knows the culture, and she knows generally, the types of individuals that work well within our team. And so that sort of phase of things was pretty normal. What wasn't normal was, effectively, first interviews, second interviews, and then, starting people and onboarding them all via Zoom. And now there's clients that I, again, have not met face to face, but I feel like I know them because I'm on Zoom with them so frequently. So it's been strange, but it has, dare I say it, become the new normal. I mean, for me personally, a pro, I travel quite a bit, I commute quite a bit for work. So a pro for me is the commute to my dining room table is a lot faster. So that would be a pro. In terms of actually, meetings and so on, what I find is that when, typically when you're doing business meetings face to face, it's especially in Ireland, I think it's an Irish thing, we like to sit down and have a bit of a natter and then we kind of get down to business. And whilst we try and do that, it doesn't make for efficient meetings all of the time. Whereas I think that actually with Zoom, because typically there's 1 hour slots and you're bound to those in many ways because you've got so many others lined up. It does tend to make those sort of meetings more efficient. And I've certainly found that, from a recruitment interview perspective, it has worked very well in that, you can kind of get to the important questions that either you want to ask as an employer or that the potential employee wants to ask of you. You can kind of get to those faster without feeling like you have to sort of do the chitter chatter beforehand. And so the efficiency for me is a bit better. Cons, I think for me, one of the cons is, and I it's for me, but it's also for my team. So, I feel in the office, we work particularly well as a team. And one of the big things for us is our culture. And we love a bit of good crack, Fridays is always good crack in our office. First of all, we finish at 4 on a Friday. So we have a bit of an early day. The beer fridge normally opens at 2:00, so you can have a beer for the last couple of hours when you're finishing off your work. And that's 18s and above, of course, for anybody who might be thinking of a younger employee. But we do like to sort of enjoy ourselves in that way. And it's lovely to work somewhere that has that nice vibe, when you're in the office. So that's definitely a con that I just wish, and I hope we can get back to normal so that the staff can experience that.
I've been at Origin for about a month and a half now. Most of my experience mainly comes from my placement year, and I was lucky enough to get the chance to work for a media agency in Boston as the digital intern, and that role shared a lot of similarities to the position I have now at Origin. Just being in your own space, it removes some of the nervousness, and being able to sit there in even your own shorts and sliders just out of frame and perform the interview that way. It just, it's easier to be yourself compared to maybe going to a boardroom and sitting in front of as many as 2 or 3 people and performing the interview that way. So, and also with my success, in my interview process for my placement, which is also over Zoom. For me, this works best, I guess, and that's where I find my most success. It was just the most valuable experience in terms of professional development and even personal development, going so far from home. But in regard to the professional development, just how to carry yourself and working as part of an agency and that pace, and being organized, the time management that comes with that, and then even the specific software and tools that I were using are the same tools that I'm using here at Origin. So, I mean, I wouldn't be able to perform the job the way I am now at Origin if not for that year with my placement in Boston. It's definitely strange. I would say it's probably less than ideal. I mean, it's the next best thing for the time being, but I mean, just for the fact that you're spending a lot less time with your team than if you would had you been sharing the same office space, it's a little bit more difficult to get to know other people, or for those people to get to know me. But yeah, as I say, it's the next best thing, and it gives me something to look forward to when the restrictions are lifted and we're finally able to meet up and use the office space. It'll be like meeting the team, some of them for the first time, and it'll feel like those that I have already spoken to, it'll be like meeting them for the second time or for the first time twice over.
If you think back sort of to 12 months plus ago, there were so many businesses that just, I mean, maybe ourselves included, that didn't really facilitate working from home at all. And, for us at the time, we just thought it wasn't practical. There's many employers that I hear stories about that just, I don't know whether it's an issue of trust, that just will not allow their staff to work from home. What we have actually found is that ultimately allowing our staff the flexibility of working from home actually increases productivity. So it wasn't something that we expected, but when we decided that we would sort of introduce a sort of draft, I guess, working from home policy, we introduced it in draft format, first of all, to see how it would work. And, we wanted to sort of assess it and make sure everybody was all right with it. And also because it was a shift for our staff, to help them understand the responsibility and accountability for their own time lay with them. And so if it was best for them to be in the office for a meeting, then that was their judgment that could help them decide on that. But it was so successful. We saw an increase in productivity across the team. Some of the projects that had been maybe running behind, we ended up delivering on time and maybe early. And, there's the elements like that we've just found have really, really helped. And as a result, we've looked at those policies and made them permanent policies so that we want to really enhance that. I mean, we've been a big advocate of the work-life balance anyway.
I'd say the biggest thing is just the team. The team is very willing to explain everything and to give me their time so that I'm up to speed on everything that I need to be, and even to make themselves available if I need anything. And then on top of that, I would say things like a weekly huddle or the monthly roundup, which we had last week or a couple of weeks out. And then, like Jill was saying about having drinks on a Friday, coming to the end of work. Like those things help me to get a feeling of what it means to work at Origin and what it's like when the Origin team all gets together. Even just to see what the banter's like, just to see how they get along with each other. Like the company values sort of come to life in those conversations. So those things, and trying to facilitate that social aspect of it, even though it's obviously a lot more difficult over Zoom. But really just making that effort to create the feeling of a team, of an organization.
We're big believers that you come in, you do your work, you work hard, and you absolutely get done what needs done. But take your break, get your evenings off and spend time with your family and so on. And that's really, really key for us. So, for me, I think that's the positive side of the pandemic, is that all of a sudden businesses that maybe thought that they couldn't facilitate this for their staff have been forced to facilitate this for their staffs in some cases. But I would hope that that would actually be a permanent sort of move, and that there is a realization that you can facilitate different ways and methods of working that benefits both the business and your staff and their well-being, because that's a big point and part in this.